All right, we're ready. All right, so we're going to talk about guard passing today. Passing the guard in jiu-jitsu or like in self-defense is something that if the person on bottom is very skilled, it could be one of the hardest things to do, because you're not just getting past their guard, you're like getting past their guard without getting choked, right? Without getting swept over. And so we're going to show some of our favorite guard passes that we like to do, and then y'all can kind of pick which ones work best for you. But the main idea that I want you to focus on is why we're even passing the guard to begin with. And it's because once we get to the ground, my opponent that's off of their back, their legs give them like this explosive power. They could kick me off of them, or they could grab me and squeeze with their legs. And so that's like my first objective once we get onto the ground and I need to control a good position. So I got to pass their legs. I've got to get past them so I can control their hips, and so that they lose their ability to like be explosive, right? So we're going to show some of our favorite ways to do that.
First, let's talk about posture. You want to have good posture and keep your back straight, and we have our palms towards us because this just is more a natural movement for our back, and we're going to use our palms inward like we're reading a book or making a shield, and use our elbows to keep their legs open from closing back around us. And also, if your hands go on the floor, try not to let the palms of your hands touch, because that limits your mobility. Like when I move side to side this way, my shoulders are limited, but if you act like a gorilla and put your knuckles on the ground, like you can pivot all sorts of ways without limited mobility. So we're just going to kind of give y'all ideas, and then y'all can pick whichever way you like to do it. I start in the guard, I'm up on my toes. If I'm flat-footed, then I have to rock up to my toes before I stand up. If I'm on my toes, I can already just jump up. So I can start off here, walk up his body. Lots of people think they just push the leg down. That's not right. Or elbow in the thigh. That might work on beginners, but not for advanced people. I'm going to make a lever near his ankle, and I'm just going to push my arm, even with my hip, push it down. And then I can step over. You can go over. You can go under or around. And I like to keep a knee kind of in the tailbone area, and I can put one hip back and arch my back like a cat. And if that doesn't break his legs open, put this here and push down. And I can go over, or I can start making my shield.
The partner on the back, I want to get my guard open, like closed again. I want to trap them with my legs again. That frame stops me from getting inside.
Or I can put my knuckles on the ground and he can't close his legs. So then what do you want to add?
I want to talk about like a mentality that I use guard passing that's real similar to our grip breaks that we use, right? The grip break, if you remember, somebody grabs a hold, the thumb and the finger where they meet, that's the weak link, and I'm going to turn the blade of my hand to break that grip. Well, if I'm in Mindy's guard, think of her legs as that grip, and my hips are like my wrist, right? I don't want to use the flat of my back to try to push against both legs. I'll turn and make a wedge out of my hip, and the edge of my hip will split the feet apart, right? And it's the same theory like Mindy was talking about earlier. The legs are hardest, they're strongest closest to the hips. So I'm reaching back to the weakest part where the feet come together and using my elbow to split. And then I can decide over, under, or around. My favorite is to stand up, and then I like playing this game here.
His favorite's around, my favorite is over.
All right, so we're going to give you a partner. We'll set 2 timers. For the first timer, I just want one person to pass the guard as many times as they can. And then at the end of that timer, we'll switch top and bottom. Okay, let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.